y'all, so we're gonna have to turn some saxophones back on. So I
You
have
turn it
found
up.
out one of my
She's real low.
coworkers, who is a white male, we got hired at the same time, same recruiter. He doesn't have any certifications. I have certifications,
A little bit more.
That's all
security
I
plus
got.
and
Okay.
others. He's making $5 more
There we go.
per hour. I can't just sit with that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to advocate for myself and basically let them know that if they don't fix this, if they don't fix this and fix it fast, then we're gonna have some issues. Because that honestly is an unscrupulous pay gap. And what's crazy is another black woman on my team, she's a little older. I found out she's making $3 less than me because she doesn't have any experience. So that would put him, well, they both don't have any experience, but that still would put him at eight. That would put him at $8 more an hour than her.
Oops, I said 10.
You see why they say that they are the saxophones? You literally can't make this shit up, y'all. So, yeah, I'm gonna follow up on this because, yeah, and no. Nope, absolutely not.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think I was in the initial comments, like, this always can go two ways. Anytime you're gonna reach out to HR, do something, you better expect possible retaliation, but you might, get to walking.
When I first seen it, I kind of had a little fear in my heart because I'm a little scary when it comes to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely a valid concern, 1000%. And that is the reason why they don't want you to discuss your pay at work, because it will 1000% stir the pot, ruffle feathers, get people upset and angry. And I've never been in a situation like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
Yeah.
let's get to part 2 and then try to part 3 and maybe do part 4 next week. But here we go.
Okay, you guys, I want to give you an update regarding the video I posted the other day where I found out there was a huge pay discrepancy. So if you haven't been tracking, found out a white male coworker, he earns $5 more than me with less experience and less certifications. And then I did some further digging. It seems like there's a palm colored pay scale. Everybody, black or African or whatever, is on the lower end. The closer you get towards palm colored, the more that you make. So I raised this issue, right? And there were some repercussions about raising this issue.
I didn't see this one.
And I'm willing to deal with those repercussions. So in lieu of that, however, I did decide to move forward with the EEOC complaint. I actually got him, he told me in text, right? The same recruiter, because some of y'all was saying, well, maybe he negotiated. And I was like, okay, let's try to give it the benefit of the doubt, right? I asked him, did he negotiate? He said he was told that that was the cap. The same exact recruiter told me that that was the cap. See, even it's just unfair because if they told him that was the cap, right? How can anybody even negotiate, right? Just even playing the devil's advocate. How can we negotiate or whatever our salaries and things like that if people are lying to us and engaging in unscrupulous behavior and unfair discriminatory practices? So yeah, I swiftly filed that EEOC complaint. And we're going to go from there, y'all, because I'm not having it. I'm not having it whatsoever. In the meantime, y'all know I'm getting back in school, so that will give me more leverage to advocate for myself. But I do feel like my brain chemistry has changed, because how can you know or how can you negotiate when people are lying? Let's circle back to that question. Because there's all this talk about negotiation. When they lie to you and they say, well, this is the cap. You see, racism isn't always outward and extreme. It's like it's subtle like this as well, but this isn't subtle. That is extremely violent behavior, especially in this economy. So yeah, I filed that EEOC because I'm not playing with people. I'm gonna cause as much trouble as I possibly can. But ultimately, that reminds me of why I said the end goal was entrepreneurship, but I feel like the near goal has to be entrepreneurship as well, because I can't deal with too much of people playing on my fucking head top. I'm not a pussy. Okay? And wherever I go, it's like I cause trouble in a sense because I speak up. Like, I'm not just going with the flow. And that causes a lot of problems with me and certain kind of people. Right? And I think I was talking to my friend. She's like, you know, Bass, I don't like that. No, they don't like that. But that's the exact kind of person I am. I'm always gonna stand up for myself. I'm even gonna stand up for other people because I can't deal with certain things. This is my life, and if you try to put me out the driver's seat of my life, you're a fucking op, and I'm gonna treat you as such. So I'm looking for a lawyer, and I filed those complaints. Okay, they will see me in court or arbitration.
My girl said arbitration. You know she mean it.
I was just going to say, people don't even know what arbitration is.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm with her. I think, you know, it's funny. People try to label women like her as like a bad employee, but no, honestly, she's just doing the right thing, speaking up for people. Because a lot of times, what I found out in corporate is if I didn't say something, nobody else was gonna say nothing.
I think the part that is like kind of eye-opening for me is being told that there isn't a way for you to negotiate, but finding out that there actually is. What is going on there? Like that.
What do you mean by that?
Literally.
Yeah.
I don't, that's all I got.
Yeah, that and just getting in the text was good. I think at the end of the day, they're gonna realize, hey, we gotta be honest. That's why California, New York, and other states push
Very
for
transparent.
they put, but see, here's the thing with the freaking salary transparent thing when it comes to remote jobs. It'll only be the high end salary will only be for the New Yorks and the Californians.
1000%.
But when it comes to you living here, they'll try to say, well, you know, cost of labor here is cheaper. I don't care what it is. Pay me the same thing. Them people ain't doing nothing different than I am. Pay me the same.
It's all it'd be like California and Washington, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, pay me the same. It's not cheap out here. This ain't 2010. And they be having the nerve to like, I'm like, bro, you're trying to. I applied to this thing because this was the salary range, and this ain't more than what I'm making now. So why am I even talking to you? And they're like, well, you know, you got a point. You got a point. Like eventually, like, dude, don't let me take a screening call with a recruiter and I'm on this keyboard. I'm be like,
I beg your pardon.
I'm be saying stuff like that. I beg your
finest pardon.
Or let me see. She got part 3. Let's see what she said in part 3 real quick. Because this actually, I might have to download part 4 just off the strength of her sending me this. Let's see.
Yeah, so here's a part 3. If you haven't been tracking, I filed an EEOC because I found out a white coworker, he was making $5 more an hour than me with less experience, less certifications. And I you know, apparently between my coworkers, if you black, you darker, the darker you are, the less as you make. Okay, that's a pattern. Yeah, and I just want to talk about that and just, I've been so fundamentally re-radicalized by this situation. And I just want black people to know, ambitious black people, that you cannot black capitalism your way. You cannot triumph this system with black capitalism. Like, even my husband, even before the situation, you know, we talk about the economy situation. Oh, people just got to make more money. They got to get a high-paying career. I'm like, well, everybody can't be in tech. We need people in all places. That don't mean that they're less. Everyone plays their role in society. Everybody cannot be in tech.
And funny enough, her and I actually had that conversation behind the scenes. And I was like, you know, when you actually think about it, everybody ain't supposed to have no tech job.
Facts.
Everybody,
I mean, just like she said, we need people to fulfill all of these roles. And we're in a culture right now where everybody wants to have the top role.
Right. But you got to think about it. We came from a different time. Like, I remember me and my homie was talking about, like, hey, man, remember back in the day, we was going to school growing up, you know, your partner or somebody, daddy or something had like a regular job and he found him a little baddie that was like a pharmacy tech at Walmart or something. Like, you know, them days don't be existing no more. Nobody want to work a regular job. One, because everything going up and they don't want to pay right. Two, now you got so much self-checkout and everything else. The jobs are just for regular people with certain IQs. They can't even do them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everybody in the catch-22 right now.
Plus, you know, it doesn't matter how much you earn if the goalpost and the cost of living, that goalpost constantly moves. Okay, what, you make 20, 30, 40, 50 more thousand, right? But now the rent is $500 to $1,000 more. You know, now a pack of chicken is $50. Like, you can't black capitalist your way to freedom, right? And I used to be one of those black folks, like, you just gotta earn more money, you know, get on your stuff, this, that, and the third. But, you know, as I've gotten older and I've had more experience, I've begun to become more empathetic because just imagine, like, even just playing the devil's advocate. So going back to the situation with my coworker, they told him his salary, his pay was a cap. They told me my pay was a cap. They lied to him. They didn't even give him an opportunity to negotiate. And what's crazy is the system is fucking all of us over, but they give, you know, white people a little more crumbs and cookies than they give us. But ultimately, you know, everybody is fucked. But it's just so unfortunate because this is a systemic issue from my research, right? And just to think, if you're even a black person making six figures, right? Let's say you're making 100,000, because six figures is wide. Let's say you're a black person making 100,000. Just to think, you are more qualified or whatever. You had to have 8 to 10 certifications more than a white man's one. So you got to have 3, 4 degrees versus a white man's high school diploma and a cert. Like, actually, I have a friend. He makes like 160, and his credentials is like reading the scrolls of the Bible. And his boss is a high school dropout that makes like over $250,000 per year. You cannot black capitalism your way out of racism and structural inequalities. Like, this shit has changed me forever. Like, when I tell you I'm about to lean in on reading, I got all the Black Panther books and James Baldwin and all the ancestors and stuff like this. I gotta go back and do the work, and because the answers is already out there. Because I just have so many questions, and yeah, y'all. I just wanted to share that little blurb. Like, racism is really fucking nasty, and it's not something that I take lightly anymore. And it's just crazy because when you think about white people, you think about, wealthy people when you say like the white man. But this particular recruiter was a white woman, a regular white woman, playing into the system, participating in the system, creating structural inequality, systemic racism, inequality, whatever the hell that word. I can't think of that. You see how that works? Smiling all in our faces.
Yeah, she's seeing firsthand though, when you had all the stuff when people talk about these elections and everything else and realize, hey, they vote just like the others do. So
I think it was an interesting take because we know that this happens, but when it happens to you and when you're the one that this is happening to, when you realize it, it hits a lot different. So I do commend her for having the courage enough to, say something and try to get some justice.
And here goes part 4.
Okay, you guys, so I want to add more thoughts to this because in prior videos, you guys know I filed an EEOC complaint about wage discrimination based on race and gender. I'm not going to retell the story, so if you want to know the full story, you guys should go back and watch the videos. But I want to add, because my prior videos were, really emotional, rightfully so, because I have the right to be mad. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm disheartened, I'm sad, all of the above, right? But I want to come back and just build upon this because, a lot of you guys, you follow me and you appreciate what I have to offer. And even though I don't ask to be, some of you guys, you really look at me like a mentor. So I'm sharing my journey. What I want to say and talk about in this video is the importance of like developing your professional armor, so to speak, right? And having mentors, right? Or maybe even you might have to pay a coach, but I would lean more towards a mentor. Is nothing wrong with paying a coach, whatever is suitable, because I feel like in this industry and the way of the economy and the job market at this time and space, it's so important to have that professional fortress, right? So I've been linking up with people, people above me, people laterally, just to kind of gain some insight, whatever the case may be, because I think, in addition to the racism and the gender aspect of the situation, I think it's 50% the race and gender, right? And then the other 50% is that, all of us, we came from the Perscolis boot camp, and I believe that these recruiters were preying upon us. Like, I don't know their compensation structure or whatever, I'm sure some involved. I wholeheartedly believe these, even the white guy who got the highest wages, they weren't fair to him because they didn't allow him to negotiate. They told him his was a cap. They told me mine was a cap. They told my other co-workers theirs was a cap. So they all knew that we were green and eager to get our foot into the door and this and that and the third, right? And I think that set us up, right? So if I were to have like constructive critique, like even for Perscolis, is that they need to have, I don't know if it's possible, but they should have some measures in place too to protect themselves. But at the end of the day, it's not their fault. They did what they needed to do in a sense. But when we get out into this world, we have to have that armor, because when you are from a disadvantaged place or space, and that disadvantage isn't always race, it could just simply being green and not really knowing what's going on, and you're at that early point in your career where you're more eager than stern and serious, right? And you just have to learn how to advocate for yourself. So y'all, I've been reaching out to people and get my mentors, especially like other Black women who have navigated this space. I reach out to this one lady. She's a senior engineer Right, I made another new friend. He's a senior engineer, white guy. I told him he'll give me my reparations by helping me out. But no, that's really it. I wanted to add that because I'm just gonna update the situation because I do feel like this can help you guys. Like, yeah, unfortunately, in 80.
Okay, cool. She gonna yap a little bit. So to close it out, that's also why I made the video. I think that was one episode. What episode it was? I was talking about black recruiters and stuff was needed, and a lot of times you'll have
that was like 2 episodes ago.
You'll have a person that doesn't really know what the job pays. I'm like, nah, that's too low. I'm going to submit you for this. So I think all that stuff is needed. Salary transparency is needed. That's why I like that. Some people don't like people share their salaries, but at the same time, I think it's beneficial because sometimes you don't know what you can make or if you actually be underpaid.
I'm an advocate for it, especially with your friends. You and your friends should be honest with how
the
much
friends
you
that's
make.
in the same industry.
That part. That's what I'm saying. No, facts. Yes. I want that because you might find out like what you make it, huh? You just like he said, you don't know what you can make. You don't know what the limit is. Is there a limit?
Yeah, but we're gonna say I wonder. Like I know she was doing something like healthcare related, so I know this how they're gonna feel in arbitration.
What's wrong, okay?
When I came down.
If anybody know where that sound is from, that video from, that thing be killing me every time. Because who told that old man to do that on that video? But no, man, I appreciate everybody that's rocked with us for the last 2 and almost 20 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Appreciate everybody. Hostile Takeover drops tomorrow. Get your copy. Watch us on the replay. Share this out. Give us reviews, leave us reviews, everything. Like I said, join the Patreon. If you join the highest tier, maybe you can talk to me or Cybershortieee. Who knows? We'll just let it rock out. But like I always say, let's stay textual and we out. Peace.